Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ. Today I've got a Trash Craft Tuesday project. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it all done, in fact I probably won't. So let's crack on into it so that I can get as much done today as possible. So in the weekend my husband and I called into a couple of op shops and I found this business card holder. So it's really disgustingly filthy. It cost me 50 cents, but it's got all these wonderful pockets in it. A couple of them, or at least one of them, is torn. So I did pay 50 cents for it, but essentially it was someone's trash. They'd finished with it. It's in a very just disgusting. I don't know why you give it to an op shop without cleaning it, honestly. It's really gross. So I thought I can do something with this, and for 50 cents it's worth the risk. So this is my trash for today, and I'm going to be working with this, and I want to make an ephemera folio because at the moment I've got like tons and tons of labels and they're in different places. So I've like got one brand, I'll just call it a brand, so one maker's labels in one place, and I've got mine in another, and then some more of mine in another place, and then another maker's labels somewhere else. And it's just like I'd like to consolidate them so when I grab for a label I'm grabbing from one place, hopefully, if I can fit them all in. So these pockets are all heat welded into the spine, so I can't rip them out. I tried very gently, but I would rip the pockets. So I'm just going to attack it with my craft knife, and I haven't tried this, so I'm hoping it works okay. So this is all one great experiment. I have thought quite a bit how I want to do it, how I'm going to achieve this, and so I'll get into, you know, the choices I've made and how I think it might work as we go along. Okay, this is actually not as easy as I thought it would be. I thought it wouldn't actually be too difficult to do this. Oops. But it is actually harder than I thought. So you've got these lovely, turn it around the right way, pockets. So there's 4 pockets per side, so they're only one-sided. And I thought, great for doing labels. I may cut them down, I'm not sure. But I thought if I attach them in a certain way, maybe I can use the back of it as a bigger pocket for bigger things, whether it's labels or something else. Of course, it depends how much I can fit in the holder without it becoming too unwieldy and too fat. Oops, just creating some little slivers of plastic here as I'm slicing through in different places. So just pull those off and get rid of those. A little bit staticky, as you're dealing with plastic tends to be. Oh, I think I'm onto a roll here. So this one's actually broken at the top. As I'm trying to pull it, it's probably making it worse. So I hope everyone's having a good week so far. It's early on in the week, I know, but you know, hope it's going good so far. Got past the Monday, which for a lot of people that's a good thing, to get past the Monday. I actually enjoy Mondays. I guess I can understand why people don't like Mondays, because they're leaving behind the freedom of the weekend, and you know, generally most people have to go back to work on a Monday. But I enjoy Mondays. It's like the beginning of a new week of possibilities. Of course, I do have the luxury of doing what I love each and every day, so that probably has a big part to do with it. I'm not even sure how many pockets or pages there are in this. I haven't counted. There's quite a few. It's the top and the bottom that's now giving me the trouble. There we go. And I don't know whether I'll use the cover for something else. Now you may be wondering why I didn't just leave it in the cover and use it as is. You know, give it a clean up and use it. Well, I didn't, because it's too tight to get multiple things in and out of the pockets. As a business card holder, it's fine because you slide it in and then you can see both sides of the card and you're not in and out of them. Whereas to get in and out with, like, so a business card, you slide it in, it's there. It's, you know, you don't need to get it in and out. But with labels, where you want to be able to, you know, have multiple labels in a pocket and pull them out, have a look at them, put them back in, check them out. It's just too tight. Like, there's not a lot of room in here to be able to get in there. So I wanted to put them in something where I've got more room to get in and out. So hopefully that makes sense why I'm not just leaving it in the cover. It would have been great if there was more space, you know, in between the spine and the top of the pocket. Then I probably would have left it, because why reinvent a wheel if you don't have to, if it works perfectly well. But I knew it would be a problem. It wouldn't work for me. Well, maybe I've got the knack, or maybe it's just easier because I didn't have the bulk on the other side. I could lay the knife flatter. Oh, yes, this side's a lot easier to get out. Well, those first ones were. Because it's very thick plastic too. Very sturdy. So it does take a bit of cutting through. So many layers. So if you've got an old business card holder lying around, I do somewhere, I don't know where it is though, and it's smaller than this one. And I think the one I've got has got flimsier pockets in it as well. But I know I've still got business cards from people in it. So I saw this 50 cents, like how can you turn down 50-cent project? Of course it's not going to stay a 50-cent project because I'll be using other things to make my folio. Right, almost there. Oops. Staticky little slivers. One last one, and then we are on to the next step. Now I have cut into that cover. In fact, I've cut right through. So I probably will just bin this. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. There is some cardboard, nice, reasonably thick cardboard in there. It's all sealed in. So maybe, I don't know. That's something for another day to think about. Okay, so I've got all my lovely pockets here. And there's a bunch of them. I should have a count up so I know how many pages I need. One. They need a clean as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so I'll just make a note. I've got 20. So I don't have to retain it in my brain and then forget and then recount. I might have to do a little bit of tidy up on the edges where I've got some just little fragments of plastic. Okay, so I've chosen out this very thick bit of cardstock. It's a 12 by 12 sheet. I went through my stash and looked for the thickest bit I had, and this is it. And I only had one sheet of thick cardstock. I don't know what thickness it is. It was part of a bulk lot that I bought secondhand. So no idea, I'm afraid, on what thickness it is, but it's very thick. I wanted it to be sturdy because it's going to hold a reasonable amount of weight. Okay, so I want to add room to make sure I've got enough room to get in and out of pockets, because that's the whole purpose of this. So we're looking maybe 4.5 inches, which would be 9 inches for the, so it's going to be Traveler's Notebook style. stylesque. So if we go 9.5, is that going to give us enough? I could perhaps go to 10, and then we'd have, yeah, I think 10 would be okay. So I'm not going to cut it off at 10 because I've got a plan for the extra bit, but I do want to cut it to height. So let's have a think about height. So I'm not going to measure. I am, in fact, I can't cut it with this. The blade is dull and they no longer make blades for that cutting machine. So I need to do this on my cutting mat. Then I just use it as a scoreboard now. It's no good for anything else. And if I try, it just does not go well. Okay, so this is going to be mounted, these plastic pockets will be mounted on pages. So I need to make sure I leave room for my pages. So let's go about there. Looks good to me. Hopefully it's straight. But I'm not too worried, it is just for me. As long as it's usable, that's the main thing. But I wasn't upset to find out that this bit of cardstock was red. Because it's not quite my favourite shade of red, but, you know, it's pretty good. It's a good start that it's red. Right, so now we've trimmed up for the height. So I want to score it at 5 inches because it is very thick. I'm not going to attempt to do it without scoring. So I'm going to score it at 5 inches, and hopefully I don't run off the line since it's very thick. I'm just going to take it slowly to make sure I don't go sideways, because I tend to on the scoreboard. Very easy to go, oops, and I'm into the next channel. Okay, and I'm also going to score it. Now, do I want to score it at 10? Okay, yes, I'm going to score it at 10. And what I want to do is I want to have a closing flap. Because these pockets are going to be sideways and I want them open so they're easy to get to, but I don't want things falling out of my folio. So I want a little flap that folds around so that if anything comes out the pockets, it's not going to just fall completely out, that it will run into the little flap closure. Hopefully that will make sense as we sort of get towards that stage. But I'm thinking I want to score that as well so it kind of squares over instead of rounds over, if I'm making myself clear. But I'm not sure how wide I will need it. So do I wait? I guess I can wait actually. I don't think it will be a problem if I wait and do that down the track. So let's risk it. So let's fold it. Yeah, I perhaps should have scored it past 10, but never mind. We can adjust it if we need to. Because I think even when the signature is sewn in, I can still like put it on the scoreboard and score it once I know sort of how wide I need the flappy bit. Giving it a really good burnish here because it really is thick cardstock. You could do it with lighter cardstock, it just won't be as sturdy. You could do it with a couple of sheets of paper and sew them together first so that it gives it a bit more heft. Or you could just use like brown card, packaging card or something and make it with that. You could use anything. Right, so here is a book. It's called The Heritage of Scotland, and I've been robbing this book for images. There's lots of images I still want, so I'm going to have to be careful what pages. See there, I've cut out something. what pages I use, but I wanted something big enough to, now is it tall enough? No, it's not tall enough. Is it wide enough? Let's take a page and have a look. I might have to rethink. I thought this would be big enough, but we shall see. I might have to get clever. It might be a bit beyond me too, but I might have to get tricky and do some hinging or something, because I don't know what else I would use apart from 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, and I don't really want to fill this up with scrapbook paper. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So it's not tall enough that way, and I don't think it's going to be wide enough to do. Oh, actually, it might be okay. So let's trim it down, and so we can have a proper play and see. So you may be able to tell I'm totally like just feeling my way through this project. So let's go about there, and that is just over 25 centimeters. I want to make it easy. Can I make it easy? No, not really. It's not going to end on a nice measurement for me. Okay, let's get rid of that strip. Let's fold this in half. And so if we pop our pockets on, because it could hang over, but if I put that, the backing is taller than the pocket, so if I put that right along that edge, might have to straighten it up a little bit, or I could just glue it, attach it, and then trim it even with the page. Might be another way to do it. And then that can go in there. I think that's going to work. Yay! I think it's going to work. And that should give me plenty of room, because I'm keeping away from the spine, because it's going to curve out when it goes into the book. It's going to bulk up and cause a curve, so I want to keep away from that a little bit. So something like that, so we can get. Now, do I want to put them on both sides? I think that would make most sense, wouldn't it? So we can get 1, 2, 3, 4 per piece of paper. So we want 5 sheets of paper. So not actually many sheets of paper. And the other reason I chose this book is I wanted a sturdy paper. I didn't want something that was going to tear easily. And this is quite modern paper. So it's not old, and it's glossy, so I'm not going to use it in other things. And I think that will just, yeah, I think they'll work well. Okay, so let's grab out another 4 sheets of ones that I won't use for anything else. So I'm not going to end up using much of this book, am I? So 1, 2. You need to trim that one up a bit. This one can be 3. and this one 4. Okay, so far so good. Right, let's trim them to height first. Oops, got little strings off the binding floating around. I will need to trim up that edge because it's a bit, some of them are a bit raggedy. That's all right. So I've got to switch it around to cut. Oh, actually no I don't, because I'm cutting across this way. Never mind me. So we'll line it up here again, and then, because if there's a little page variance in their height, it's not a huge deal, but we went just over 25. So it'll be a minimal, if they're not quite the same to that first one I did, it'll be very, very minimal difference. And since it's just for me, I don't care. It's going to be all good. Right, so that's that. Now I do want to just tidy up these edges. And now that I've cut them down to the height, they do fit this way on my mat, which is good. So I don't want to take much off because I want as much width on them as possible. There we go. Get rid of those little scrappy strips. Nothing we can do with those. I keep wanting to put this in the rubbish. I keep seeing it on my desk and thinking it's a little sliver of paper, but it's actually one of our cat's whiskers. And I need to put it in my journal, but I want to laminate it first. It's a very long one. But yes, it annoys me because I keep seeing it and thinking, oh, I'll put that in the rubbish. And it's, oh no, don't put that in the rubbish. I want that. Okay, so let's fold these in half. I'm not sure how I'm going to attach the plastic yet. I'm going to try gluing as my first port of call. And see whether that's going to work. So I won't be able to sew everything together until I can tell whether the glue will be sufficient, because if it's not, I'll need to sew it, and I can't sew it once it's all together. So that's where I'm sort of heading in my thinking. Oops, had it lined up and that moved on me just as I went to crease it. It's the trouble with slippery glossy paper. Moves very easily. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? Lovely misty Scottish morning. And that's the benefit too, still be able to see the photographs through the pockets in and around the labels that are housed in there. That one and this one. One and my first one, which I didn't trim the edge of, so it's probably slightly wider. There you go. And they all seem to be about the same height, so that worked well. I hope you're not too close up. I just realized that I had lowered the camera for when I did the journal flip through, and I didn't put it back up, so I hope I'm not up in your face. Let me know if it's too close, but I won't do it during this video. I'll leave it as is. But yeah, let me know if it was a tad too close for your comfort. Okay, so attach them like that. double-sided tape. Maybe double-sided tape might be the way to go. Although tape I'm a little less sure about using, because when you put things in with double-sided tape, when you put them in the pocket, it can stick to the edge of the tape and then you can tear things, or alternatively not actually be able to get them back out because they actually attach to the tape that you've used. And thinking about using that back as a larger pocket as well. So I'm thinking maybe I should trim down these edges first. This might be a better way to go. So if we trim them down to about 1/2 inch or 1 centimetre maybe, out from the edge of the top of the pocket. So if we line that up there. So we're not taking a huge amount off, just tidying up that edge and removing excess. Okay. Right, that's going to be terribly, terribly boring for you to watch, isn't it? But I need to do it. I think I need to do it now, or at least do some of them. And I thought about taking them all out of the folder, you know, cutting them all out and detaching them and everything. But I wanted that to be part of the process because, you know, that's an essential part of it. You can't make the folio without removing them, and, you know, tips on how to do that, which, you know, I wasn't too sure on either. As I was going to do it, I was like, I hope this works. I've had a busy morning so far. I've done 2 loads of washing. I've put the dishwasher on. I've watched a YouTube video already because I tend to watch YouTube while I have breakfast and just have a, you know, an hour or so where I'm just relaxing, which is kind of the nice setup to my day and gets me inspired because I always watch a crafting YouTube video. So it's a really good way to start the day, so I feel, you know, ready to jump in and get making. Right, so I'll make this the last one I do at the moment, and then we'll start looking at gluing some on, or how we want to do that. Right, okay, so just making sure I've got them the right way round, since the 4 pockets are only on the one side and it's just flat on the other. Okay, let's just take 1 page, and I think my alcohol-based premium craft glue would be the best option. Crafts, hobbies, lampshades, fabrics, paper, leather, lace, trim, etc. Doesn't mention plastic. My tacky glue, crafts, hobbies, fabric, silk, timber, some plastics. Bonds to almost all types of fabrics, leather, balsa, and other soft woods, paper, cane, most handcraft materials, and more. Okay, I'm not sure actually, but I'm going to go with the alcohol-based glue and see how we get on. It's an Australian brand. It's made by Helma. and I do love it for lots of things where I want that better hold. So nothing for it but to give it a go and see how we get on. So there's a bit of just brushing off a few bits of things. So I want to glue along the top, the sealed side. So this side is sealed, and the bottom, making sure I've got the pockets on the front. I mean, yeah, no, to do it the other way wouldn't make sense. It would be harder to get things in and out. So let's put some glue on and test it out. Oops, don't want glue in the middle there, so we'll have to remove the strings that I just got in the middle. And if you do use this glue, it is quite powerful in its smell. So if I'm using it all day, then I tend to develop a headache by the end of the day. So ventilation is a good thing. Or try, to do it in batches so you're not sitting there using it all day and giving yourself a headache. Just want to remove that, because I don't want to glue my big pocket shut. I want to be able to use my big pocket. Okay, now the tricky part is lining it up where I want it to. Okay, that's the tricky part. I feel like I have no idea how to do that. Okay, maybe if I bring it in slightly. Oh, I'm so nervous doing this. Like, I was almost shaking. I was like, oh, is it in the right place? I mean, I'm working with essentially trash. It's not a huge deal, but I really want this to work. I do want it to work. Okay, I am thinking, can you see the smoke rising? See, there's a nice big pocket in the back there. And it feels, at the moment, it feels pretty secure. I think I'm going to go with this. I don't think I'm going to sew it. And if it fails, like if it pulls off, if the glue isn't successful in holding it, then I will just reattach them with double-sided tape, because I know the double-sided tape will work. You'll see the tape, but like, look is not so important in this as functionality. So if I see the tape underneath, I'm not worried about it. But I do think that this glue is actually going to do the job. How it stands up over time with getting in and out of pockets, well, we'll just have to see. I'm almost wondering whether I should put glue halfway, so I've got two sort of smaller pockets. I might mix and match and do some with two bigger pockets, and then some with the larger single pocket in the back. How about that? So how about this one? We do the two pockets in the back and maybe alternate. That might be something we could do. Okay, so let's glue some pockets in, and then I'll have to get back to trimming the plastic up. Oh, I'm excited now. I was so nervous putting that first pocket down. Makes me want to go and find more business card holders. Right, and put some glue down the middle there. And like, you could even like do it another small pocket and then have a larger pocket with the 3 sections. Yeah, lots of ways you could arrange it actually. I hadn't thought about that previously. So I'm just making sure I give that spine a bit of space. Although there's not going to be a huge amount of pages in it, but once they're full with labels, then it's going to add bulk, undoubtedly. Oh, this is exciting. I'm really excited now. Right, so this one will be the full. Okay, and this may not end up being alternate. I don't know how it will work once I've got all the pages in. But that's okay. It won't matter whether they're actually alternating or not. Because of course these two pages, unless this is the middle of the signature, are not going to be right next to each other. Right, so make sure I put it the right way round. I'm giving it a good squish down so that glue has a good chance to adhere. It dries very quickly too. Right. Oh, I'm liking the weight of it actually. It's going to get a lot heavier once it's got labels in it. Get rid of some of this. Oh, I think that's actually a little bit of ink off an old business card or something that I was trying to scrape off. I like that picture in behind too. That's quite cool. Okay, so we'll do this one into the two back pockets. You know, if you wanted it to look pretty, then by all means use scrapbook paper or whatever, you know, other decorative papers you might want. But because of the weight that's going to be in it with the, once the labels are in there, tags, labels, whatever you want to store in it, just bear in mind to use sturdier paper is my recommendation. Of course, the weight of that paper is also a consideration. Don't want it too heavy. But this is just my thought process, and as I said, I wasn't sure how this was going to work, so oops, I've got a bit of overspill there on the glue, bit of a grubby mark, and I'm making it dirtier, rubbing it with my fingers are obviously dirty from handling the plastic. Or actually probably the cover of the folio, because that was grubby. But I can put a bit of washi tape or something over there. I don't really want dirty. I don't care about the look, but I don't want it dirty. So I'll just put a bit of washi tape over there and that will decorate it up. And we've got our first page all ready to go. Oh, that's so cool. I'm excited. Right, my glue is busy spilling out, so let's just close that for a moment. Glue all over my fingers. Right, okay people, time to get these trimmed up. So how are we doing for time? Do I need to just pause it and do it? Yeah, maybe I'll pause it for just a bit and bring you back when I'm almost done. So hang on a tick. Okay, I have trimmed them all up, so I spared you from that tedium of watching me cut them all. But I thought I'd bring you back and we'd continue gluing them on. That's my messy glue tip here. So just making sure I get them round the right way. Oops, I need to get it dried up a little bit, so let's just get rid of that messy glue. So I'm just going to go the same pattern as what I did with the others, and they'll go together how they go together, with doing the one large pocket in the back and then the two smaller ones. Oh, that's stinky glue. That's good glue though. Get it straight. Oh, I did not cut that plastic straight. Oh well. never mind. Not the biggest problem in the world. Right, so we'll do a double pocket in the back here. Oh, I can hear the neighbours out doing some weed trimming around his property. Oops, and I just smeared that glue. That was annoying. Okay, try not to do that again. Doesn't even matter if they're not actually glued on straight. Of course, I try and do them straight. Oh, that one's actually split. Okay, that's all right. We'll deal with that. If it just splits more and during the use, well, it is what it is. It's just reusing something that's been thrown out by somebody. I can always just slap a bit of washi tape or packing tape or something over it. Washi tape fixes a lot of things, don't you think? Little things we need to hide or hold together. It's just such a great tool. It was one of those things that I didn't buy for a long time because I thought, oh, what do I need washi tape for? Because I find it quite pricey, but it's oh so pretty. And now I'm definitely a confirmed washi tape user. Oops, I've got a bit of something under there. Get rid of that. Love it. Love using it decoratively or like I was saying, to hold things together or cover over in a problem spot. It's just so useful. Okay, and then our back one will be the double pocket again. Oops. One at a time. Just trying to do a bit of a clean up as I go. This one is also split. It's actually split on the back. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. And if I lose a pocket here and there, not ideal, by no means ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. And a bit of glue across there is going to help hold it together. Hopefully it won't split further. And I keep putting my fingers in that middle line of glue, which is very unfortunate. I feel like these pages aren't as wide as my first page I did. Something. Oh, there's a hard bit of plastic on that one. Just sticking up. So it's a manufacturing thing, I think. There was just a bit of extra plastic caught in the edge, so I've got rid of that. Got a bit of overhang here. So I might have to do a bit of trimming up because, yeah, this page is not as wide as the other one. Right, we have 2 pages. How are they fitting together? Like a dream. Oh. And then I'm going to have to fill them all, aren't I? I won't do that on camera. Maybe I'll put a few things in just to see, but I'll want to take some time and think about how I want to organise and then how I want to label so I know where everything comes from so I can credit the makers. So I'll probably use some sticker sheets and just write on and pop them on at the beginning of a section who made them. I think was probably the most useful way of doing that. We're getting into something of a rhythm here. That's the benefit of doing things all at the same time. You like mass making, so you kind of get into a rhythm, and overall it takes you less time to do than if you were doing each individual thing, you know, doing a complete work and then moving on and then starting afresh on the next one and then doing the complete thing. You do mass making, it does work out actually more time effective. And also if it's something that you tend to forget, like the details of either the size or how you actually did it, then when you mass make you don't have a chance to forget because you're doing it all at the same time. So that's quite a useful, yes, just making sure I stick the pockets on the right way round. So that was a double, so this will be a single pocket in the back. Oops. Keep getting glue on myself. Oops, make sure it's flat there. I hope you're enjoying this project. I am. I'm really, really happy with how it's turning out. I think it's going to be very, very handy for me and hopefully make a lot more sense than my current system. I mean, my current system is not bad. It's actually pretty organised to what I was, but I just think this will be more efficient, and so I can just grab out the one thing and find all my label selections, or a good, you know, good part of them. I don't know how many I'll fit in here. That will be the other thing. But yeah. Yes, this is a single one, isn't it? I remember where I'm up to. And if it wasn't supposed to be a single, well, it is now. No, it's supposed to be a double. Oh well, never mind. It's now a single. Right, next one. Hope you're hanging in there with me, guys. Hope to get this all done in the video, and yeah, we're not going to have time for sewing it in, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to make this a double pocket since I mucked up on that last one. And maybe I'll make them all doubles now, because I think they're probably a more usable size than the full single pockets, potentially. Without, you know, losing things too much in the back. And I quite like the book page as a background. It's like it kind of doesn't matter what's in the background. You can see it, yes, you can read it if you like, but it's kind of neutral. Even with the photographs, I feel like it's more neutral, and that my labels will stand out rather than sort of getting lost on a decorative scrapbook paper background where the patterns are competing. I feel like my labels will be more visible. I'll be able to see more easily what's in the pocket. That's kind of my theory anyway. It sounds good. But I've never had something like this. One of my label holders is a photo album, like with the clear pockets. But they're 6x4, I think, so, you know, they're quite a big pocket to hold little labels. And I've often got to get tweezers out to get down to the bottom of it, particularly for the smaller labels. And I thought, well, this, and these are tighter, like the fit's tighter, so they won't, I don't think they'll slide so much. We shall see. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, don't they say? So the proof of how this works will be in the use of it. And this one's split at the top as well, I see. So a bit of glue on the back is going to help hold that together, I feel. And I can also use tweezers to get out any that are sort of pushed to the back of the pocket. I don't know, maybe it won't work. Let's just find out. If it doesn't work for labels, then I'm sure it will work for something else. Maybe fussy cuts or die cuts or something. Of a certain size, of course. Wouldn't fit your larger ones, except in those back pockets. Would fit in those back pockets all right. Okay. So this one is all double pockets. Actually, I know what will go in those single pockets quite well. I've got some tall labels. Oops. Oops. Okay. I need to let that dry. I was going to stick it on the wrong way. So let's put it on this one and wait for that glue to dry. I got too cocky, didn't I? Too cocky. And distracted myself by thinking how I'm going to fill the pockets. Okay, I'm just going to put that one completely aside and just go ahead with this one. Because I don't want that glue interfering with what I put in the pockets. So if this glue fails, if it doesn't hold, then I'm going to be having a mass session of putting double-sided tape on everything. But we will worry about that if or when the time comes. I really want this glue to work because I think that's just a really good solution. This has got some ink transfer from the business card that was inside it, so I think that's all fine. My glue's getting lower. Oh, I'm getting hungry. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning. Should not be hungry at this stage. Probably means I need a drink. I didn't make a coffee to have while I was recording the video. So that's what I'll be doing as soon as I finish this video. I'll be grabbing myself a hot drink. Okay. Last one. Are we one short? We seem to be one short. Did I miscount something? I'll get this on. Somehow I'm short. I don't know what happened there. I miscounted something somewhere along the way. Unless I've dropped one on the floor or something, which is entirely possible. So I'll get this on and then we'll have a little scout round and see if I can find what I've done. Right, so 4 there. Got 4 there. There. So So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ah, here it is. It was over with the cover. It must have been the first one I cut. So I didn't miscount. I just had put it aside and didn't see it because it's clear. Okay, is that going to be a pain, that glue residue? What I might do is, just so it doesn't become an issue, sorry for reaching under the camera there, I'm just going to grab some washi tape and put it across. It doesn't matter in the middle and the top and bottom because that's going to be where the glue goes anyway, but just along the front here, particularly at this end where I've got a bit of glue. And if the tape comes off over time, then that's okay. So maybe we'll, so it doesn't look funny, I'm just going to do it top to bottom. Otherwise it would look a bit random, wouldn't it? Oops. Like I was saying, washi tape fixes so many things. Right, there we go. So it adds a bit of prettiness as well, doesn't it? And hopefully it won't be a problem. Sorry, I just realised I didn't need to be reaching under the camera like that to put it away. It could have waited. But never mind, it's done now. Okay, so let's glue this one on the right way round. How about? Sound like a great idea? Oh yeah, that glue is stinky. Just got a great whiff of it then. Okay, there. Crisis averted. So hopefully that washi tape won't create a problem getting in there. Right. So, stick down. They're all glued in. That is awesome. Where's the middle? There's the middle. Well, that's kind of nice though, isn't it? Having that statue in the middle there. Maybe we'll put this one in there. And they jut out a bit. That's all good. So these are going to go in here, get sewn in there, and then we want to wrap this around, so going to need room for growth. So how much? I don't want to shortchange myself. How much have we got to play with? We have got 2 inches. So we could go maybe 1 1/4 inch. That gives us enough room for growth, or 1 1/2. I'm undecided, people. Can you tell? I'm sure you can. I think I need to almost fill it before I can tell. So my plan is I will score it when I've decided how deep I want it. I will score it, and then the flap will fold over, and then I'll have some sort of closure. Oops, sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Some sort of closure, which may be magnets, or it may be a tie or an elastic or something, just to hold it together. That's pretty quick and easy to open when I want to grab out a label. And I've got these apothecary labels is what I was thinking would fit well in the back pockets. Maybe not the single pockets actually. They're not as tall as what I thought. You know, because a single pocket, yeah, it's quite big, but it will fit in the half-size pocket. So is this a half-size pocket? I think so, in the back. Or maybe not. Depends. Depends where I put the glue. So those ones I think will work well in the back there. And I've got these ones are a bit smaller, so maybe I could go small ones in the back there. And then these sized ones of different shapes. I can sort them by shape. Like so. Sort them by size. Maybe I'll put all the rectangles there. Ooh. And then there's ovals and circles. Maybe the ovals and the circles can go in different ones, maybe. There's another rectangle one. Let's just do this little bin I've got here. Why not? So there's more rectangle ones of different sizes. And I may juggle these around just depending what space I've got. Maybe that bigger one needs not to go in that pocket. And then I've got these little shaped ones as well. So maybe I put the ovals, it's not as many ovals and circles. Maybe I put the ovals and circles together. Maybe. I don't know. Whoops. And then there's a bigger ones. That's where they came from. Here's a different style again. But that could go in back there. I won't put you through doing all these because there's quite a lot, because I'm also thinking there's little ones like this and there's different shaped ones like that. So I need to probably think about whether I want to separate them all out, which would be nice. I think they'd be nice all separated out. So I'm not going to do the sewing in today on camera. I'm not going to do the closure. Maybe what I'll do is I'll fill it, and then, I don't know, I might do the next part on camera, we'll see. But for now, this is the idea. This is Trash Craft Tuesday, using up something that somebody else threw out and making myself a cool little ephemera holder. So, I hope that's enough to give you the idea. I'm tending to think I'm just going to finish it off and then I'll post photos on Instagram. So, if you don't see it finished on camera, then you might have to pop over to Instagram. I'll try and also put it in Visual Vibes once it's finished so that you can go there if you're not on Instagram. So thanks so much for joining me for this wonderful experiment. I'm really, really happy with how it's turned out so far. I think it's going to be very usable. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you back for another video real soon. Okay, people. Bye.